Right. One of the big questions that we're going to be asking this year, I suppose, is all about how the All Blacks are going to play under Dave Rennie and Mike Blair and Tana Umaga and Neil Barnes and Jason Ryan. So one of the best insights that we could possibly get would be how they're playing in the Japanese league. And we just happen to have a bloke on the podcast. His name's Bryn Hall, and he played against Dave Rennie's team Kobe in the final of the Japan League. So, Brenna, let's have a chat about exactly how you guys previewed Kobe and how you went about figuring out, let's start maybe on attack, how to shut down the way that they attack.
Yeah, look, they have a very, very explosive athletes. You know, your likes of your Brody Retallick, Aotearoa, and the players that they do have. So look, they were very, very good at their ball carry into contact. Now, whether that was off their 9 or whether that was off Gatlin or their 10, very good in and around winning collisions around that area. So we touched on being able to do with Scott McLeod around 2v1 and being very physical around the breakdown area. So, you know, when you've got big ball carriers like, you know, an Aotearoa or Brody Retallick, having 2v1 ball under ball and being able to smother and I guess slow down that quick ball was a really big part for us this week when playing them, because if they do get that quick ball, then they're back swinging with kind of what Mike Blair touched around them swinging and using the ball. They were very, very good at that with Kobe this year. And I think lastly, their click attack and turnover ball, whether that was line out throws, being able to do quick taps, playing on top of teams and putting us under pressure.
How important, you talk about the 2v1 tackle, shutting down time and space to 1, buy time in that collision, but then 2, for the repeat efforts of that.
Scott McLeod did a really good job for us, like our rock action leader and more so our leader, being able to be on their ball carrier, so a hammer or the 3 forwards that you traditionally see off an attack off 9, and being able to be outside shoulder, going into that space, and then the damage either side of the ball, whether there was, you know, they were going on an out carry or stepping back inside. They do like to step back inside with the players that they do have there, both going under the ball and being able to dominate that collision, kind of like you touched on, Jipper, with the Blues against the Hurricanes and trying to stop their ball, right? So it was a big focus for us, which then in turn gets our line set nice and wide. And if their backs were swinging, we were pretty much set and aligned to be able to know exactly who we were on and bring in that line speed pressure from the inside and also connected as well on the outside with our bunker or the guy that's in the back, communicating on who you need to get to and who's on last and being able to stop them from that.
And just when you talk about rock action leaders, so for everyone, it's like there's the breakdown, then the first defender's rock, and the second's action, and then the lead is the third. And what Bryn's saying is to get to the pointy end of a pod is get the lead to there. Now, what I want to know about that, Bryn, is that a double job for action to basically get up straight so it cuts the 9 running, and then have the ability, once the pass goes, to have that inside ball if that pointy end of that pod gives it back inside?
Traditionally, you would Jip, but I think with the Kobe 9s and the way that we did preview it, they weren't really running threats and there were no rovers that were kind of around the 9. So you had pretty much license to know that as an action, you were going to be on a double shoulder to go hard and off the lead. So I think there's a big focus on our lead and our action, but I think also, you know, you've got a Brody Retallick and an Ash Dixon, very good at tip balls. So our +1 outside the leader, having to be connected, having the same mindset as you would with the action, getting a double shoulder and being able to work with the lead.
And is that a skill set thing, you think? Like, I'm just thinking for the All Blacks, like Cam Roigard and Cortez Ratama run a lot. Is that a skill set of the 9 for Kobe, or is it a tactical decision?
I'd say it'd be a skill set thing. Like, I think with their power athletes that they do have, and we've seen that with Kobe the whole year, they've been able to make breaks through that hard defense. I think, if anything, having Cam Roigard, I think they'll be licking their lips. With the 9s that they do have, a Roigard, a Noah Hoth, and even Cortez Ratama, what made Kobe really, really good and what's made them good this year is the athletes that they do have, or even if they're backs on the outsides or the inside backs, they're very good at using their skill set. So I don't think that it would be any different from what we see with Cam Roigard or the All Blacks in general.
So once you've had the rock action leader shut down that pod area, what's the flow-on effect from there that stops them getting into their flow?
Then outside of that, so if you look at the Hurricanes with the way that they are playing, if you get really good carry inside with those 3 forwards that are going forward, you're tightening up your defense, or you've been able to go backwards because it's a really good line, it's a really good go forward ball, then you're not set. So then, you know, with the way that they do strike, outside 10, your roving wingers that are moving in and behind, animated like we see with the Hurricanes and in a lot of traditional football now. It's really hard for your midfielder loose forwards to be able to make decisions. And sometimes if you have your tight forwards that are making decisions with down balls, out the backs, backs that are running, pocket lines or from behind where you can't see them, it's really hard to defend. So Corby have done that very, very well this year. Their ability to be able to see space and then being able to attack with the athletes that they do have as well.
What about kicking game? Because they're well known for, I suppose, attacking from anywhere. How do you approach a kicking game to stop their threats on the counter?
Well, the contestable game was big for us, and I think just with the personnel that they have had, they're quite small in stature and probably not great in the air. So for us, it was being able to put a contestable game on, which we pretty much have done the whole year, whether that was through Nine or whether it was through Bernard Foley, whether it was through Sean Stevenson, to get them in a position where it was really hard for them to catch the ball. Now, on the other side of that, they're very good at the counter attack. If you didn't win the scraps, they'd get the one pass, two shift pass, and then you've got your Ardie Severes, you've got your Michael Littles, you've got your ball carrying wingers to be able to be really nifty and against unstructured defense. So that was a big focus on us, being able to get the contestable game right, but then also shutting down the scraps, because a Dave Rennie team, very good at being able to make you pounce in those first two phases if you don't get your defensive structures right off that kick.
I'll just jump to your guys' attack. What are you looking to do to break down their defence?
We're trying to go through them. I think we've got a forward pack that is able to do that. And I think for us this year, when our backs are swinging together and we're able to get to the right person and telling our loose forwards and the players that need to be involved in our face play strike attack, then we've made some really good pay. Because I think, look, Sean Stevenson's been very good in and around us, seeing the opportunities when to pull trigger. Bernard Foley's been very good around the connection piece and being able to get game management, putting us into the right areas. And then I guess when we have pulled trigger, we've been able to do that. But I think our set piece as well, Jipper, we've got a pretty strong set piece, and when push comes to shove, our line-out drive has been good for us this year. Yeah, it's kind of marrying up all those things. Your set piece, being able to get that right. Our contestable game is going to be a big focus.